Good afternoon, book lovers of the internet. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am Book Nerd 802, and in this video, I am going to be reviewing this graphic novel called The Twisted Ones from the Five Nights at Freddy's universe by Scott Cawthon. I borrowed this one from the Birkirkara Public Library, and it consists of about 190 pages, and I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I read this one in one sitting, by the way, and just a bit of a fair warning for those who love chapters is that this one does not have any, in contrast to the first volume. So if you plan on reading this, this one does not consist of any chapters, but it doesn't really matter. Honestly, it is still rather fast paced and it was a quick read. It did not remind me in any way of Cujo, for instance, by Stephen King, or I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. Those have either no chapters or very long chapters, which tends to be off putting for some people, some readers. I also borrowed the first and the third books in this trilogy, this graphic novel trilogy, from the same public library, by the way. So this was rather great considering how it revolved around the animatronics and Charlie's PTSD rather than the characters necessarily, as did the first book, for instance, which focused heavily on world building and character development. I now further understand why it was necessary to do all that in the first book, do some groundwork, I suppose, but this one was way better as far as suspense, horror, gore. As far as those things are concerned, this was way better than the first book. So, this one, as I mentioned, deals with animatronics they've developed, which give the impression that they're much scarier and way more dangerous than they actually are because of a chip which emanates a high frequency that distorts reality. So, what the people see is not the same as what is actually happening. So, yeah, I mean, there will be a couple of spoilers in this review, just a bit of a warning as well. And also, Dave, for instance, here is for the spoiler for this book. Dave is William Afton, a guy who used to work with Charlie's father, and also the serial killer from the first volume, who somehow managed to survive using the suits. I suppose the suits were able to keep him alive. I really appreciated how they added zombies in a movie, as well as how they mentioned the brain being manipulated very easily. To kind of foreshadow what would happen later in the graphic novel. I believe that this is what happens in the books as well, although I haven't yet picked those up properly. I should continue reading the novel trilogy rather than the graphic novels. But these are fantastic. The illustrations are great as well. The question of why such suits are built and put in a children's establishment is still left unanswered and adds to the horror and lore, but it's extremely weird that nobody questions such an invention whereby spring locks are used in order for a suit to be worn by a person or even controlled remotely as needed. And yeah, Dave now goes by the name of Springlock since that is the way in which thought he died in the first book because of the spring locks, but apparently they weren't enough to kill him, so now he goes by the name of Springlock. He is still a horrible serial killer. I'm not sure whether he is dead now conclusively, it is hard to tell still, but it's pretty crazy how Charlie suffered a very similar fate considering all that she went through, all that she did throughout the book to investigate the way in which the suits work, and she tried to also understand her father's machinery, but apparently it really wasn't her father's work, but William Afton's, so she couldn't really comprehend it as well, I suppose. This one ended on a rather horrifying note, and also a cliffhanger, which I was definitely not expecting considering what Charlie goes through. As I mentioned, basically, she is trapped within a suit, and I'm pretty sure the spring locks get her. I don't know if she survives or not, because of the cliffhanger mostly. And there is also a character which pops up towards the very final few pages, and we're not really sure whether it is Charlie or a person that looks very much like her, so we don't really know whether she is alive or not. I will be finding that out tomorrow, probably, when I read the third graphic novel in this trilogy by Scott Cawthon. So I felt horribly for her, considering that all she wanted was to be reunited with her twin brother Sammy. And apparently, when they were children, he was kidnapped and killed using the suits by Dave, as far as I know. And what Dave says is enough to send chills down anyone's spine, really. And I'm honestly fascinated by how he's not yet dead. I totally thought that what happened to him during the first graphic novel would be the end of him, and perhaps we'd get different antagonists in this one, but apparently we get more of his inventions, and Dave himself is still alive as well. It anatomically makes no sense for him to still be breathing, but he is indeed an incredible inventor, even though he's evil, so I will give credit where credit is due. He is a fantastic mind, but at the same time, what he uses it for is pure evil, and he is still a serial killer after all. I wouldn't say that this graphic novel necessarily blew me away or blew my mind in any way, and it's rather simple, a very simple concept, truth be told, but considering that the target audience consists of children, I guess that the gore, the suspense, and the horror are perfect, even for a guy like me who is not necessarily, who does not form part of the target audience directly. Um, I still enjoyed this and found it to be very quick paced, and I would certainly recommend this graphic novel trilogy to students who want to read some horror to introduce themselves to the world of horror. So, yeah, Charlie being shown dead bodies and finding some of her own is, of course, frightening, but I did not expect her to, more spoiler alerts, by the way, succumb to a similar fate as did Dave, for instance, in the first book. The Charlie that we're shown on the last page does not seem genuine, and I suspect it's either a costume or a robot which looks much like her. This is it, by the way. I'm not quite sure what will be told in the third volume, but this does not seem genuine in the slightest. Do let me know what you think of this in the comment section. So yeah, personally, I think that it's either a costume or a robot which looks much like her, or another person entirely. Then we have John as well, Charlie's romantic interest, who could not catch a break in this volume, and he immediately suspects that something's off once he sees this version of Charlie. Um, which pops up on the last page after everybody thought that she had passed away. And I agree with John, but I suppose the answer I'm looking for will be granted to me in the third and final graphic novel. I'll probably be reading that one tomorrow and reviewing it as well, so definitely stay tuned. I'm still rather confused as to how these twisted animatronics look like when they're not distorted, and also I'm pretty curious as to why the regular animatronics were of help in this volume, considering how they seem to be rather villainous in the first one, perhaps because they were under Dave's spell. Just Afton and Charlie's father at war, even though Charlie's father has passed away and Afton is basically um, he basically has one foot in the grave already, so I'm not quite sure what sort of war this is. They just want to kill as many kids as they can get their hands on, and now they have also advanced to killing college students. Just a bit of a promotion there, but I think that is all I had to say about The Twisted Ones by Scott Cawthon, the graphic novel from the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. I feel as though the illustrators should be given plenty of credit as well. They did a fantastic job overall. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.